the chair of the House Foreign Affairs Committee, Ed Royce, and the ranking Democrat on the Intelligence Committee, Adam Schiff. Congressman, thank you both for joining us this morning. Let's begin with the EgyptAir mystery. And Mr. Chairman, you know, there's so much conflicting evidence out there. No heat signal of a big explosion. You have those other signals of some kind of smoke in the cockpit, perhaps a fire on board, and a good 2 minutes of the plane going down. So it's hard to know if this leads you in the direction of terror or some kind of catastrophic failure.
But here's what we do know about ISIS's operations in the past against airliners in Egypt. We know that they successfully took down an airliner flying from Egypt to Russia. We know that they're working on a bomb that's undetectable. We know from the sensors that, yes, there was smoke in the avionics bay and in the laboratory. We know that a rapidly compounding problem in the computers and the windows opening to the sky. Those kinds of circumstances could be explained by a terrorist attack.
So in your view, is terror still the leading theory?
In my view, it's highly likely because of the amount of effort that ISIS and al-Qaeda have put over the last few years into trying to develop an undetectable bomb. And this is one of the concerns we've had about allowing ISIS to operate in Raqqa with their facilities to try to develop that type of bomb technology. The same is happening with al-Qaeda in the Middle East. The same is also now happening in North Africa, in Libya, where ISIS is training 6,500 fighters, and ISIS is in Egypt right now fighting in the Sinai.
So we know that ISIS is active and wants to commit acts of terror. Are you convinced that this is the leading theory now?
I'm not convinced, and I think it started out certainly as our main suspicion, particularly in light of that Sharm el-Sheikh attack on the Russian airliner. But here we are, we've examined the overhead images, we've looked at the signals intelligence, we've looked at the manifests. We have not come up with any hard evidence of terrorism as of yet. And it seems very suspicious to me, George, that here we are 4 days later, no claim of responsibility. ISIS releases a video or audio tape, doesn't claim responsibility. If it was ISIS, and it's still very possible, I think it's more likely to have been a lone actor that wasn't operating with the command and control of Raqqa, taking matters into their own hands. But at this point, we really can't confirm either theory, and I think either is now equally plausible.
And I think the other odd thing to me is the fact that we did not hear from the pilots. Even though you did have 3 minutes there, we've got nothing to indicate any communication there as well.
And the idea of the plane moving around could be consistent with some sort of struggle going on.
It could be a struggle. It could be a colossal failure of the technology on the plane as a result of fire from two wires connecting with each other. We've seen that in the past. So the reality is the evidence can point in either direction, but in all of our intelligence holdings at this point, no clear corroboration of terrorism as of yet.
Meantime, we do have these security concerns here at home, Congressman, and you've got these long lines at the TSA. The TSA is saying they could use more screeners and more money. At the same time, they're not going to sacrifice security to get people through more quickly.
So what we have done is move through legislation that would allow for the hiring of more of these screeners, but also for the payment of overtime. One of the difficulties we've had is with a great deal of turnover over at TSA, and there's certainly management problems at TSA. So with this legislation, it's also important the administration move in with an overhaul of management at the TSA to make them more effective. And let me add one other point.
Replace the administrator?
Well, I think we have to have better results at TSA, and I think most of the audits show that there are management problems there. The other problem I think that we should be focusing on this wider picture of this challenge is that to the extent that we don't have an overarching strategy to take out now ISIS with its training camps and its bomb-making equipment. I'm just back from North Africa, and in Libya right now, they're working on the capability to develop bigger explosives, new ways to attack in Egypt, new ways to attack in Tunisia and across North Africa, just as they're doing this in the Middle East. This is going to come into Europe, and ultimately it will come here unless we are effective in deploying a strategy to take ISIS out now.
Two-pronged strategy, one overseas, but also, Congressman, here at home. And you've talked about the repeated TSA failures to actually capture fake weapons during tests.
Yes, and the good news on that front, George, is that TSA has been improving. TSA has been doing their own internal checks, testing their own employees, and those results are improving. Still, I think there's some distance to go, and I won't truly believe those results until The independent inspector general does their own tests and confirms the improvement. But I think these long lines at TSA are not necessary to security, and I think there do have to be management changes. It's not just management, though. There have to be more resources. There have to be more TSA screeners if we want to do away with these long lines. And as the chairman pointed out, we're going to have to, that's not a complete defense, we're going to have to maintain the offense, and that is going after ISIS, going after this caliphate, shrinking its size. We have seen improvements there as the territory controlled by ISIS in Iraq and Syria diminishes. But nonetheless, we see their continuing lethality, not only with attempted attacks on aircraft, but also with these numerous bombings in Baghdad. They are clearly going to move to a more guerrilla insurgency kind of a campaign as their space shrinks in Syria and Iraq.
Congressman, thank you both very much.
Thank you, George.